Okay. Hare Krishna. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, Prabhu, we can hear you.
Yes. Okay. I don't know what happened. The whole temple internet connection just failed. So we're on hotspot now. Anyway, I got mine back. Now Keshev's trying to get the temple one working so we can put the slideshow back. Okay. Here's the Maharaja's. He had a team of bulls that he was working and plowing the land and working with for quite some time. Had them all well trained. Okay, so we'll go back with Ashita. She was halfway through. She's had a chance to catch her breath. And then we'll continue on. Sorry about that.
Dear Mahasrnga Prabhu, thank you for always being the mood lightener in our family. Thank you for giving us delicious sandwiches while we travel. Thank you for letting me raid your refrigerator whenever I came by. Cooking with you, going on walks, and talking with you was never boring. You will always be the energetic, coolest, and fun grand uncle in my heart. And I believe no one will ever be able to take that place. We sure will miss the lemonade and popcorn you always made. They were the best. We will miss you a lot. Hare Krishna.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you. And Sudam want to read something? And Sudam, thanks, Jesus. Sudam, my youngest, my son, he also wants to read something.
Hare Krishna. Dear Mahasrnga Prabhu, you will always have a special place in my heart. I remember when we were going to the hills, I was 3 years old. We stayed in a hotel. Then we were checking out the day after. I was playing on the swings outside. Then after a few minutes, you came and started pushing me on the swing. Then after, Papa came out and told us to come, but we didn't hear. Then I was feeling dizzy, so I asked you to stop the swing, but you were listening to Kirtan, so you couldn't hear me. So then I thought that I will just jump off, and your arms were out to hold me. At that moment, I jumped. Papa called you, and you looked back, and I fell onto the ground and hit my chin on the small rocks. Then I started bleeding heavily. Then you got so nervous. Then you were patting my back while taking me to mommy. You will always be remembered no matter what. You will always be remembered.
It turned out to be quite a disaster that day because when he jumped off the swing, Maha was going to catch him. But then I called out, so he looked away and he jumped and ended up face first on the concrete and split his lip open. And it was a Sunday in the early morning in the middle of Uttar Pradesh, trying to find a hospital to stitch him up. He got stitches in his lip. It was a big disaster. Okay. All right, now then next, Devikanandan Prabhu is online, so we'll ask him to speak a few words.
Maybe I will go after
Yes,
Mandapa.
Prabhu.
I will go after Mandapa Prabhu.
Mandapa Prabhu already had, he just has not dropped
Oh.
his hand yet.
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namini. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschadiptare. Pancha Kalptribhya Kripa Sindhavi Patitanam Pavanabhyo Vishnu. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Sivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare. What a great soul Mahasrnga Prabhu was. We'll be missing him greatly. I first met Mahasrnga Prabhu in 1979. They were in Bangalore that time, in a small house, and we were on book distribution in South India. And my first impression was that he was a very tough man. And I am also a tough guy. So we could not get along that time. We were 1 week in Bangalore, and almost every day there was some argument. Anyway, I moved on for book distribution. And then off and on week, of course, we met. Then I met him once when he was in Sannyasi in Bombay. And yeah, he came, he stayed for a week. And that time I realized he's not the same person that I had met him earlier. Because earlier he was very tough and rough. But when he came to Bombay, and he was very kind-hearted also, and a sannyasi, very loving and affectionate. And I was on a management post, so many a time he came and met us. But of course, we didn't have much association till he came to Jaipur. So Pancharatna Prabhu, of course, before he came, he has already some other devotee also, and he briefed me about those devotees, because especially Mahasrnga Prabhu, because of the Ritvik thing and all this thing. And I told Pancharatna Prabhu, come on, let us move on. He's Prabhupada man. So whenever I went to Jaipur, we had such a loving, affectionate, relationship. Whenever we met, he was a personality who never missed Mangala Arti, who came early morning before everybody. He chanted his round very nicely. And he was a fun-loving guy who laughed and made others laugh. He always gave some gift to anyone who came to his place. He fed people. I have one experience. Once we were on Pancharatna Prabhu, we went in the sea. What is that called? I'm forgetting. We took the tour.
Malaysia on the cruise.
On the cruise, yeah.
Yeah.
On the cruise. We went on the cruise, and we had 30, 40 people, a huge crew. Mahasrnga Prabhu was very kind and compassionate towards everybody. He used to go from one table to other table, trying to see comfort of the people. I remember there was one family, Raju Bhai Javeri from Ahmedabad, and he had two daughters, Harita and Prithvi. Maha was like their great, kind of grandfather or, elder uncle. They loved him, and they will always be around him, and he used to, be on their platform. So not feel the difference that, he's elder and they are younger. But he kept, such a, he kept them in comfortable zone, and they remember till now. Some or other, I don't know if you have sent the link to them or not, or if they are here, I have no idea. But they would have loved to talk about Maha. And whenever I met to them, they always remember Maha's fun. And then again in Jaipur, whenever I went, of course, we didn't again meet much, but we always met for Mangalarti, breakfast, sometime lunch, sometime even evening time. And we talked. And as Pancharatna Prabhu's daughter was talking, Pancharatna Prabhu home was his home. He used to come and teach Pancharatna Prabhu's wife, and she also teach and order her to make this thing. And she used to cook nice prasadam, and even he used to cook, and he used to bring something from home. So again, he was very fond of eating and feeding. Once I remember we went to his apartment where he was staying. I was staying the opposite apartment and he was staying other side. And one devotee who had come, Pancharatna Prabhu, I forgot, I'm growing old, I'm forgetting the name. The devotee who spoke before Prabhupada lecture, who was in Jaipur for some time. This lecture given by His Divine Grace Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. You know that devotee?
I don't know that. Yeah.
Yeah. So him, me, Mahaprabhu, and I think Vyapaka Prabhu was also there. And we were talking, and Maha really fed us. He gave me so many small gifts. He gave one Bhagavad Gita, a small pocket size, and he gave some Narsingh Dev yantra and few other things. So yeah, he was always very loving, caring, and that's what I remember Mahasrnga Prabhu. And few months back, my last visit, I think it was in March, when I was in Mangalarti, we all both, bow down to the deity. And when he bow down to get up, I tried to help him. He said, no, I can take a help. I can do myself. He didn't want any help from anybody. He said, no, I can do. And then he whispered in my ear, don't worry, I am not here for so long. I am here just for some time, but I want to do things on my own. So I can say that, he was knowing, that, he's not going to be here for so long. And even when I spoke to Pancharatna Prabhu last week, before, just a day or two before he passed away, and Pancharatna Prabhu was saying that how he was so jolly in hospital to the nurses and doctor, and people cannot believe that he's patient or something. He was always Prabhupada conscious, Krishna conscious. He heard Prabhupada lecture, he heard Prabhupada talk, and he was always thinking about Prabhupada. His life was Prabhupada and Krishna. So I am sure that Prabhupada had called him back in his service, wherever Prabhupada is serving, and Mahaprabhu had joined. I will just only pray to Mahaprabhu that he bless us, that we can also join, and once again we have laugh, joke, and have prasadam and talk Prabhupada Katha. Mahasrnga Prabhu, you will be missed. We love you a lot. Thank you, Mahasrnga Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you. Yeah, it certainly was very nice those days. He was always giving lots of prashadam. Everybody here, they called him Santa Claus, always giving prashadam, always giving gifts to everybody. It was so nice that as Devikananda Prabhu was speaking, the pictures of the crews preaching and Mr. Zaveri's picture also came up on the screen same time. Vyapaka Prabhu, a very senior Prabhupada disciple from Canada, but from America. So he's here now in Jaipur. We'll request him to speak next then.
Hare Krishna. Can you hear me?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I've already written a testimonial to Mahasrnga earlier, and I think everyone's pretty much seen it. But I do have one that was sent to me by Sri Nandananda Prabhu. Who's known Maha for a very long time, and he's asked me to read this into the group, and it goes, Hare Krishna. I had known Mahasrnga Prabhu for many years, had seen him go through various stages in life, and he was always a friend to me wherever he was, and whenever we met. He always portrayed himself as an externally rough person, but inside he was just a fuzzy teddy bear. The rough exterior was part of his funny side, because underneath we would always joke around. We would still get serious at times about issues on ISKCON, or the means to keep making devotional advancement, or the ways to please Srila Prabhupada. But otherwise, he was always a lighthearted soul.
You can hear, Vyapaka, something went wrong.
He dropped out.
Is he in Jaipur, Vyapaka Prabhu, or he's in
Yeah, he's here. He's here.
Oh, that's why your connection is very poor in Jaipur.
I don't know what happened. No, he's at home on his own connection.
Okay, I guess I'm back. I'm sorry. I'm actually on my phone. The internet connection is unstable here, and so is my phone. So I'll try and go quickly here.
Yeah, now you're
Um,
clear. You're clear.
Yeah, okay, but otherwise he was always a lighthearted soul with me. But he was still a very determined person when he made up his mind about something, whether it was
I think we're waiting. There's a few
Okay.
others you can. Yeah.
okay. I got a few more paragraphs. We'll see what happens. Again, Srinandana Prabhu writing, I am already missing him. He was always thinking about the great achievements of the devotees in Jaipur, especially at Pancharatna Prabhu, and how nice things were going there. I know that he always hoped that I would one day come there to live. The Jaipur Yatra will certainly not be the same without him. I am praying to Lord Krishna and to Srila Prabhupada, they may come closer to them in whatever way possible. And I hope he does the same for me. He is only going on before me as time is running out for all of us here in this material world. And I know he never cared much for being in this world, and the way things are going, he may have gotten out before things get worse. I pray that Srila Prabhupada and Lord Krishna gives him their mercy, and that he can
Should turn off your video, Vyapaka. That takes up bandwidth.
Okay, here we go again.
Yeah, keep the video off. Turn off the video.
Turn off the video. Okay,
Yeah,
would that be better?
you'll get better.
I pray that you can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
Of course, now you can't see me.
okay.
I pray that Srila Prabhupada and Lord Krishna gives him their mercy, and that he can continue in his service to them in whatever way is best. My insignificant blessings and good wishes go to him, as well as to all the devotees in Jaipur who were so kind to him and made him feel welcome there over the years. Hari Bol, your servant, Sri Nandan.
Yeah, Srinandananda, thank you. And Vyapaka Prabhu, thank you. So we have so far now only one person with their hand up, Bali Prasad and Lalit Karunamai. So if you'd like to speak, Prabhu, you can unmute your microphone. And if you can, please put on your video so we can see you as you're speaking.
Their audio is out. They cannot speak. There's some problem with their mic.
How do you put your hand up?
Oh, my hand is up. Can I speak?
Yes, okay, then you're next to Bali Prasad Prabhu. You've got some audio problem. If you can sort it out, then when you come back, you can speak next then. Yes, Haribol Das, then you can speak. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Prabhu. I wrote down a small homage to him. Dear Mahasrnga Prabhu, Dandvat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to you. 17th May 2021 became the worst gloomy day when we heard about your departure from this mortal world. Every day we were waiting for your health. We were waiting for your health updates from Pancharatna Prabhu. And we were very hopeful that you would soon come back to the temple from the hospital. It was very hard to believe that you are not with us anymore. It is very hard. Your humility is a great example for us to follow. You showed us by your example how to respect even a small child. You never showed any sign of arrogance in your personality. You would respond with a big smile and folded hands even to a small kid if he would greet you Hare Krishna. Your dedication to Srila Prabhupada is an inspiration for us all to follow him. Our ears will always be hankering to hear your sweet and melodious Mangala Arti and Narsimha Arti. We will miss you, we will miss your charming smile, and you will always be remembered among us. Again and again, I offer my humble obeisances at your lotus feet. Your saddened servant, Haribol Das. Mahasrnga Prabhu ki jai.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. Yes, one thing Devikanandan Prabhu also mentioned. He never missed the morning program. Never, ever missed the morning program. He would get up at 2 o'clock in the morning, sometime 1 o'clock, latest 2 o'clock in the morning, and he would do security and chant his rounds around and around the temple and Mangaladi, 4:30 every morning, never ever missed. Then later on, when he got a little weaker, had some physical problems, then he was not able to come sometime. And it really hurt him. He was telling me, oh, if I can't come to Mangaladi, then what's the point? Really affected him. We have another very senior devotee here, Panchagoda Prabhu, temple president from Vrindavan, and I think Maha's first temple president. He joined from America, so we'd like to request you to speak. Of course, they're all very old motorbike buddies, and they ride around all over the Himalayas together.
Jai, Mahasrnga ki jai. Yes, we were together in Miami. He was my temple commander back in the 70s. And we'd go Sankirtan together all the time. He had a double bag, like 2 bags on all the time. And Maha was always the first one and very enthusiastic to meet people and greet people with his great humor. And for many, many years, we traveled together doing Sankirtan, book distribution. Sometimes in traveling, he'd yell at me, say, hey, you're waking me up snoring. I said, no, you're snoring. You're waking yourself up. And we both were snorers. So anyway, we spent a lot of time together in Miami airport. And also when he was in Mayapur, I used to visit him regularly. And now I've seen also the time he spent in Jaipur. He's very excited to be with the Jaipur project. And we did go on a few mountain trips together. We went from Mayapur all the way to Siliguri, Darjeeling. It was like a 14-hour motorcycle trip up in the western Bengal, the mountains up there. And we also went to a few different Himalayan trips. But Maha's very much missed by my family. My sons both had fond memories of Maha. He's like my older brother, much older. And anyway, we miss him very much. I used to appreciate very much when he come to Vrindavan to spend some time with us. But Maha, he went through a lot of challenges and ups and downs in life, but I always seen that he has such a big heart, very giving person, very loving person, and very generous, full of gratitude, and fixed in Prabhupada. He wanted to have simply everything. If he felt somebody was deviating in any which way, he wouldn't hesitate to speak out. But Maha was direct person, very straightforward. I can just imagine when Ramanuja was telling the story that he handled that situation very nicely. Maha was not a fearful or shy person. He was outgoing, very self-confident, also very quick on the jokes. We got along. He'd mock me and I'd mock him back. Anyway, I miss Maha a lot. Very few people that you can consider very close friends. I feel after 45, 46 years of being with Maha, traveling with him, sharing good times, and having our own little relationship. He's someone that I feel was a big part of our family's life, very personable. So Maha, wherever you are, pray for us. Thank you, Maha. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
One more thing, Pancharatna Prabhu, I just remember, I keep remembering.
Please,
That-
please.
Yeah, whoever, like I sent some people, whether it is from New Jersey or from London or from Bombay, any of my guests went. They remember many things of Jaipur, but they never miss remembering Maha and his, dealing with them. They always a very fond memory of Mahasrnga Prabhu, that how, he so lovingly talked to them and gifted them. When I remember when first I went and he gifted me Prabhupada murti, a small murti, and that was like, hey, something that I'm still preserving. And whoever, at least 2-3 of my guests went, and he gave those gifts. Once I asked that, okay, I can get something to give, they're very good, and a small Bhagavad Gita. And I said, Maha, tell me how much it costs. So, don't worry, just take it. And he made arrangement that I got almost 5 or 6 of those murti, Prabhupada small murti, and dozen of Bhagavad Gita, which still I give to some of my big donor. So all glory to you, Mahasrnga Prabhu.
Yes, thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. It's a very nice thing to remember of him. My wife is here, and I'll ask her to speak also something, little bit she wants to say. Later on.
Dear Mahasrnga Prabhu, I still cannot grasp that you are physically not with us today. I miss you. I miss the playful and cheerful moments with you. When at lunchtime and breakfast time, you always would have to put something on my plate from yours. I miss the moment of calling you for lunch. I remember when you just now got sick and not eating, and then not wanting to eat. But when I fed you, and like a child, you would not want to eat, and then I would play with you, saying that it is the last spoon, and you will finish it, and you will take and feel like victory. You have always been with me in ups and downs of life, always stood in support of me, no matter what. You had such charming personality that brings people back to life. You were, are, and always will be part of me and my family. I know you are here with us. Your place is always here. You are in my heart every moment, and I feel your presence through your smiling face. May not be visible in this material world with these material eyes. You were a great soul and down to earth. Please forgive me if unknowingly I have committed any offense or mistaken to your lotus feet. Miss you. Love you, Mahasrnga Prabhu. Sorry.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. I might need to just take a break and mop the floor a bit after that. Yeah, Maha used to come every day for breakfast and lunch. And it was his daily program to try and take something from her plate. And there would be a whole drama every day. She'd be hiding her plate, he'd be trying to get something every single day. It happened. A lot of small things like that, they're the things you remember. We have a few more here. Sanjay Maheshwari and Trivikram, Priya, Krishna, and Sringacharan, and then Rashmi's brother, Vineet. We can ask them to speak something next. And if you've said something before, especially Sally or anybody, even if you've spoken before and something clicks, if you want to speak again, please do jump in and go ahead. So Sanjay ji, please go ahead. You can unmute. Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
महाश्रृंगा दास जी से सदैव मंदिर में मुलाकात होती थी, भेंट होती थी, और जैसा कि सभी ने उनके बारे में बताया, वो इतने खुश मिजाज, इतने मिलनसार, बाहें पसारे हरे कृष्णा बोलते, बड़े मुस्कुराते हुए स्वागत करने वाले व्यक्ति थे। और उनकी इस विदाई पे मुझे लग रहा है कि जैसा कि पूज्य देवकीनंदन दास प्रभु जी ने कहा कि शायद पूज्य प्रभुपाद ने ही उन्हें अपने पास बुला लिया है। मुझे गीता का श्लोक, जो अध्याय 2 का 51वां श्लोक है, कर्मजम बुद्धि युक्ता विफलम त्यक्त्वा मनीषिणः जन्म बंध विनुर्मुक्ता पदम गच्छन्त्य नाम्यम। भगवान श्री कृष्ण कह रहे हैं कि हे अर्जुन, ईश्वर भक्ति में स्वयं को लीन करके बड़े बड़े ज्ञानी ध्यानी मनीषी इस भौतिक संसार के कर्म और फल के बंधनों से अपने आप को मुक्त कर लेते हैं। इस तरह उन्हें जीवन और मरण के बंधनों से मुक्ति मिल जाती है, और ऐसे व्यक्ति ईश्वर के पास जाकर परम पद को प्राप्त कर लेते हैं, जो समस्त दुखों से परे है। मुझे लगता है कि महाश्रृंगा प्रभु भी एक ऐसी आत्मा थे, ऐसी परम आत्मा थे, जो निश्चय ही परम पद को प्राप्त हुए हैं, और इसलिए उनके इस मुक्ति पर हमें शोक नहीं मनाना चाहिए। ये मेरा निजी मत है। हम भगवान से यही प्रार्थना कर रहे हैं कि वे उन्हें अपने श्री चरणों में स्थान दें, और उनके देहावसान पर, उनके बैकुंठवास पर हम कोई शोक नहीं मनाए, यही मेरी विनती है। हरे कृष्णा।
What happened to Jyoti Babu? He was there. I just saw him.
He's online. I didn't see. Sanjay ji, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Panchratna.
Yes.
I see Jidaradi's there.
Yes, he didn't raise his hand yet, although his.
Maybe you can call up.
You raise your hand like this.
You can
Oh,
call
okay.
up.
No, online. Yeah. Okay. So it's good your hand is up. Then we'd like to hear it from you for sure. Jidaradi Prabhu is a very long time friend of Maha, and they were preaching together in Hong Kong and the Philippines years and years ago. So we'd like to request him to speak.
Just listening to everybody speak about Maha, you come to realize that he has so many friends that and my experience also is that when he was in the Philippines, everybody hear?
Yes, yes, we
You
got you.
can
Prabhu.
hear, but somebody talking somewhere.
Shuddha Bhakti, please mute your microphone.
So in the Philippines, some of the things that I remember from Ma, we used to share a room together, and we'd have a sparring match every night because he used to like to keep the aircon on. I used to like to turn it off.
But you are mute now, Jitarati, you are mute.
Now you went on mute.
How's
Yeah,
that?
now,
Okay.
yeah.
Yep. Now good.
Yeah, so.
2 मिनट जरा मीटिंग चल रही है।
Hey,
Ravindra
Prabhu,
Kumar, please
Hey.
mute your microphone. Okay,
Okay.
Jidaradi, please.
Yeah, so in the Philippines, Maha and I used to share a room in the temple. And so we would spar every night because he liked to keep the air conditioning on and I like to turn it off. So we'd wake up about 5 times every night. He'd turn it on, I'd get up and turn it off. But the thing about Maha, even you were like, you could say, fighting with him, it was always very pleasurable. Because we used to, fight about different things, but we never got really angry with each other. We were just very happy with each other. So, and now I'm seeing that he's that way with everybody. And even my customers, I do business in the Philippines. I was supporting the temple. So Maha would go and visit my customers and give them incense and give them gifts. And then when I would go and make a delivery to them, they would say, "Who's that guy? He's so friendly and so generous and so nice." My customers, they all loved him. And Maha used to go around in the Philippines. He brought a lot of devotees back to the temple. He would go to universities around the Philippines and just yank them out of school and bring them back to the temple. So he was famous for that in the Philippines. Made so many devotees. And traveling with him all over the world, different countries, in Philippines, in India, in Bangkok, in Thailand, in Cambodia, and then all across the US. We traveled all over. I visited him every place he lived in the US, in LA and Alachua and Sandy Ridge. Speaking about the bulls there, many days I spent with him plowing the fields with the bulls that he had. It was great fun. So one thing I wanted to say was that we all take our friends for granted a lot, but what really hit me, Vyapaka sent me the funeral pyre pictures. And when I saw those pictures, it just really hit home so heavy that Maha's not here anymore. I mean, Maha his body's not here anymore. And you know for sure that he's, in this particular body, he's gone. And that was a very profound thing for me. And it just made me think how much I really miss him. I could go on and on and on about Maha because we had so many times together, but there's so many people to speak. And I think that everyone that's crying about Maha, his sister and your children, Pancharatna, and your wife, it's just, that's how Maha affects you when he leaves. And I'll never forget him. Hopefully we'll all be able to meet again in the future sometime. Jai, Hare Krishna. All glories to Mahasrnga Prabhu.
Pancharatna Prabhu,
Yes,
I have bureau meeting 5 o'clock, so I have to leave. Please forgive me. I would love to hear others, but I have to.
Thank you.
leave.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. Thank you for coming. And just Jitaradi Prabhu was speaking. Maha had that good luck. He was here on his visa and it was about to expire and he needed to get a new visa. That means this time he would have to go back to America and apply for a new visa. And he didn't want to travel so far and he was thinking what to do. And then Jitaradi Prabhu had a contact of a businessman in Delhi, had a contact in Burma. And he was saying that the person was in charge of the American embassy in Burma. So he was saying, well, I'm being transferred in 3 days' time. So if this Mr. Crawford can come to Burma right now, tomorrow, and fill up the application, I'll give him his American visa, but he has to come right now. And somehow or other, then Jitaradi Prabhu arranged, and the businessman from Gurgaon, he spoke to his people, and Maha put a flight, flew to Burma, he got him, put him in a hotel, gave him food, everything. Next morning, went straight to the embassy. The man was waiting at the door, stamp. And next day he was back on a plane, back to Jaipur. He had that something about him. Everything just always fell into place.
Right. That was the Indian embassy.
Indian embassy, sorry, yes, Indian embassy visa for India. Yes, sorry. He was in charge of the Indian embassy, so gave him a
I got a visa from them also.
Okay, yeah. But he had that somehow uncanny, sometimes he didn't even know what was going on around him, but things were falling into place. And so he didn't have that much difficulty.
Right.
I did mention Trivikram Prabhu and Srinacharan Prabhu Vini, but I do see Jyoti Maheshwari Prabhu was there. I just wondered, Mr. Maheshwari, would you like to speak something? You have, I don't know, you've not put your hand up, but.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we can. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Today, Mahasrnga Prabhu is not amongst us, but he will always live in our hearts. It is difficult to imagine Jaipur complex of ISKCON without Mahasrnga Prabhu's warm welcome and smile. He was always smiling and he was very fond of giving gifts, particularly small pictures of Narsinga, Lord Narsinga, or small statues of Lord Narsinga. So he was very affectionate. So he will always be missed. He was the senior most devotee, I think, in Jaipur, who got Diksha from Srila Prabhupada in early 70s. And then he spent next 5 decades in service of Lord Krishna all over the globe, and particularly in Jaipur. So we will be missing Mahasrnga Prabhu, and we pray to God to give him place in Vaikuntha.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Maha was always very respectful to everyone, but at the same time, even most respected persons, he was able to joke with everyone. And he was always very fond of Mr. Jyoti Maheshwari, Mrs. Indu Maheshwari, Jyotiji's wife. He was always worried, where is she? Is she coming for a program? And he was always joking with her as well. So he had that ability. Okay, so Trivikram Prabhu has been waiting patiently. We'll ask him to please speak.
Hare Krishna. My voice is coming, Prabhuji?
Yes, we can hear.
Hare Krishna. Respected Mahasrnga Prabhu. You are a great dear of Lord Krishna, great disciple of Srila Prabhupada, and a great Vaishnava. I am not finding myself capable to speak about you. Even I am having some experience last 7-8 years with your association. I want to share whatever I am going to say. Already speakers have told about his personality, all these things. What I found main, his smiling was very great. I have never seen such a great smiling on the face of anyone else as Mahasrnga Prabhu was having. Sometimes when I was in distress, I was in tension, I'm a little bit worried, and I see face of Mahasrnga Prabhu, smiling face of Mahasrnga Prabhu, all my tension, distress disappear at a time. Even 3-4 months back, when he was got operation of hernia and he was not capable to move here and there, I went to his room and met him. At that time, he was no tension, nothing, and smiling the same fashion, as if nothing has happened. So great smiling on his face. I have never seen. I never forget that smile. Second, as His Grace Devkinandan Prabhu told and many speakers told, he was very fond of giving gifts to anyone. Few times he give to me also. Sometimes some tilak made of some metal to fix on car. Sometimes calendar from Vrindavan. And even he asked to me, when you are going to Vrindavan? I told him, I am going this time. Okay, I want some things. And he, through me, he purchased so many petty things. not he is giving gift here in Jaipur, but he is supplying their gifts, some bead bags, some chanting beds, some kanthi malas, etc. to foreign countries to devotee friends. It was so great. And he always joking me. When he meets me, he always joked to me. And I was surprised at this age of life. He was so active. He installed a gym in Jaipur. Last year, when I heard that Prabhu is going to install a gym, I was surprised. Yeah, his gym. And when I listened, he himself in doing exercise in that was very, very difficult for me to understand. At this stage, he's doing activities in gym. So in 2-3 months back, when in winter, he remained to sit outside the gym because sun rays are there. He sit there and chant there. I was passing through. He catch me hold. Where are you going? I'm going to shop. Okay. Are you coming to gym? Like, no, Prabhuji, I'm not coming to gym. Then what are you doing for maintaining health? I told Prabhuji, I am doing morning and evening walk. This is the problem you Indians have. You don't use machines. You should use machines. Okay, Prabhuji, I will try. So he was joking me time to time. He has a great soul. He will remain in our heart. We can't say more about him. Nothing. All glories to Mahasrnga Prabhu. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Jai Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. Nishringacharan Prabhu from nearby Chomu. They're running the center in Chomu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Vancha kaltrupes kripa sindhu bhayev se patita nam pavanebhyo vaishnavbhyo namo namo. First of all, you all accept my humble obeisance to great devotees and you all are Vaishnavas in your feet. I was always impressed with Mahasrnga Prabhuji, with their smiling, just Trivikram Priya Das Prabhuji just speaking. And when His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj is come to temple and we have to a chance to live at Ruchi's house, and Mahasrnga Prabhuji is living just in front of their house, and sometimes his door is open. So we always listening the Prabhupada voice audio at Mahasrnga Prabhuji's rooms. He always listening the Prabhupada's audios. That was really impressing to us. Mahasrnga Prabhuji, how much love to Prabhupada. Although I have shared two photographs of 2013, and when first time we celebrate the first Jagannath Rath Yatra at Chomu. Just I WhatsApp to Panchanand Prabhu at their phone, so he can share. Really, Mahasrnga Prabhuji's rise in early morning and chanting regularly, that is impressing and giving us to more motivate for more bhaktis. So we have no words to speak about such great devotees, but I will always naman to in lotus feet and pray, please, mercy to us for upliftment in bhaktis. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Mahasrnga Prabhuji ki jai.
Thank you, Nishringacharan Prabhu. Thank you. Yes.
It's not far from midnight here. I'm going to have to go shortly.
All right.
Could I tell a quick one?
Please, yes.
This is in relation to Maha, and he's giving gifts. And it's an older one. 1985 was the year that the Formula One Grand Prix came back to Australia after many years. And it was held in the city where myself and Pancharatna joined ISKCON, and Maha was there. And one of the guests, as you know, many well-known personalities travel the world and follow Formula One, the Grand Prix. So one of the guests was George Harrison. So Maha, one morning, he grabbed me and he said, let's go and get George. And I was like, okay, yeah, right, sure. So we had a well-known cook in the temple, Bhutnath. Some of you may remember Bhutnath, great cook. He ran our restaurant. So he prepared a great big box of milk sweets, a huge box of milk sweets. And Maha found a real nice brass deity of Krishna in the temple shop. And off we went, gift wrapped. Hilton Hotel, security everywhere because full of well-known personalities. And they stopped us at the front door, said, no, you guys don't come in. Maha talked his way in. We got to the elevator. There was more security on the elevator. They said, no way. But we got past them and we went up to the top floor, found out where George's room was. And the two guys on the door, of course, they stopped us. And Maha tried every trick in the book, but that one didn't work. But he had them laughing along with him. They were apologetic, but there was no way they were letting us in to meet George. So Maha left the gifts and said, please, can you make sure that George gets these? The next day, a letter rolled up to the temple on Hilton Hotel stationery, which read, Dear Mahasrnga Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. I'm very, very sorry that the goons on the door stopped you. Next time I'm in town, we will definitely meet. Please accept my humble obeisances. And we're sorry for the difficulty you had yesterday. So that note from George, and he thanked us for the wonderful milk sweets and the deity of Krishna. So that letter from George we had on the temple notice board for quite a long time till it eventually faded. Another instance of Maha and his gifts.
It's a fact. Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah, it's a fact that when I went to his room, just looking for some things, I opened up, there was a couple of suitcases. I opened up suitcases and suitcases full of gifts, calendars and trinkets and stickers. I mean, he just, whenever he would go to a shop and see something, we go, okay, give me one of those, two of those, give me 10 of those, give me 30 of those, give me 50 of those. He just had more gifts in his suitcases than we have in our gift shop. Thank you, Ramanuja Prabhu. If you have to go, we understand. Now we have my wife's brother, Vinit. We'd like to hear from him.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, am I audible?
Yes, very good.
Yeah. Prabhuji, for me, Mahasrnga Prabhu was a man with a grace. Whenever you met him, or greet him, he will always meet you with the warmness and a smile. The image in my heart will be always of a smiling man of Mahasrnga Prabhu. And I agree, he will agree with me, Panchandra Prabhuji, Rashmi, and all the kids, that our family is incomplete without him. But he will always remain in our heart forever.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. There are quite a few people here. If anybody would like to speak, maybe if you run your mouse to the bottom of the screen, a small taskbar will come up on the right side. It'll say reactions. If you click reactions, then you'll get a window which says raise hand. If you click raise hand, then we know you want to speak something. Just run the mouse to the bottom and reactions. If it's on a mobile phone, I'm sorry, I don't know exactly, but you can, if anybody else wishes to speak. While we're waiting, we've been through the slideshow, it'll scroll through. So that was the full slideshow. There were quite a few more photographs, but these are the ones we selected for the time-wise that we had. So is there anybody else would like to speak, if you can't raise your hand, you can just unmute and say, yes, I would like to say something.
Is Maha's birthday actually the 20th or the 24th? I thought it was the 24th.
He's the 24th, yes.
But it says here 20, 8/20/46. But he's the day before my wife's birthday, so.
Oh,
Anyway.
very sorry, yes.
No,
So it seems his birthday is the same, Sally's birthday is the same, and my son's birthday is the same day.
So 24th, right?
And Haribol Prabhu's birthday is the same day. And Rekaseni's birthday is the same day. So few people born on 24th, yes. In our philosophy, there's it describes 6 loving exchanges between Vaishnava devotees and friends, and giving gifts and receiving gifts is 2 of those things. So Maha was exemplary in that. He was always giving me gifts, giving everyone gifts. I didn't give him enough gifts in return. I gave him a handkerchief every birthday or a pair of socks, but it never made up for what he gave. So he was the master of that loving exchange, giving gifts, and then giving prasad, giving food, and receiving prasadam, receiving food, is another loving exchange. And that I was better than him. He used to come every day for lunch, every day for breakfast. So we were always feeding him, and sometimes even when he didn't want to eat, my wife would have to hand feed him. So giving the prasadam, giving food, that one we won. But the real one was inquiring confidentially, revealing your mind in confidence and inquiring confidentially. It is a very deep, loving exchange between people who are very close. And we had that relationship. Maha was like that. I could tell him anything, my plans, my fears, my heart, my mind. And it was confidential. You know, it was very clear. It was in confidence, and he would keep it in confidence. And he would advise you what he felt was good for you, not what would benefit him, but what was good for you. He would give you that advice. And the same way, he would also tell me his secrets and his desires and his misgivings and his faults, and we would discuss in order to help each other grow in life and to grow in spiritual life. So I felt that that was the most important thing. Everybody in their life has to have a friend like that. You have to have someone who can tell you off when something's going wrong. They can tell you, this is wrong. Don't do this. They can advise you, and you listen to them. You have that much respect for them that you listen and take note of what they have to say, and vice versa. When sometimes he would do something and I would sometimes tell him this is wrong and chastise him, and he wouldn't be offended. He wouldn't take offense, but he would consider and appreciate. So that kind of loving exchange of inquiring confidentially from someone and revealing your mind confidentially, it's very, very important to have that kind of person in your life. And if you don't have that kind of relationship with someone, then it's a great loss. And to have someone like that and then lose them, it's an even greater loss. So now, I don't know what I'll do. But that was Maha. He was that kind of person. Very confidential, very lighthearted, and at the same time can become very serious and listen. And as Panchagoda said, Prabhu said, he'll tell you what's on his mind. If he thinks it's good, he'll tell you it's good. And if he thinks it's bad, he'll tell you it's bad. So that kind of honesty is very rare. I see Mike's brother there. Craig is online. I wonder, would you like to speak something, Craig?
Sure. I wasn't prepared, but you know, I was thinking about
A little
this.
background, perhaps, to who you are, what you do for a job, a little bit, maybe we can know who you are.
Okay. Well, I'm his youngest brother, the baby of the family. I was a psychologist for my career. I retired May 1st, so just recently retired. Yeah, I was thinking about Maha's journey. When Sally mentioned earlier that he had quit his job and was hitchhiking across the country, just kind of searching for himself. He was kind of lost, and he was on a collision path for an early death. I mean, he was really experimenting with a lot of things, and along the way, I met him in New York when he was hitchhiking across the United States. I had just graduated from high school. I was just taking a trip myself, and he had just been given the Bhagavad Gita, and he was talking about that, how it was interesting, how it was just kind of scratching the itch that he had, and he went more and more into it, and it saved his life. It really did in all ways. I mean, not just physically, but spiritually. The Hare Krishna saved his life, and he found himself there. And I listening to everybody talk about how he was accepted and loved there just warmed my heart. I'm so happy that he had the opportunity to do this, because like I said, I mean, he was happy, and he and I, I'm not the most religious guy, but he and I would have, many discussions about, the spiritual platform, and he always said in the end, if I'm wrong, if this turns out to not be right, it's made me so happy that it doesn't matter, and I'm so glad for that. I'm glad that he had the opportunity. I'm glad that he had the friends, and he was I always looked up to him. He was everybody mentioned his sense of humor. He had that in spades. He was a very funny guy. And so I just thank you to the Hare Krishna community for being such a good family to him, and taking good care of him, and loving him the way you did. So thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much. So nice that you could come online. Actually,
and if I could just say one more thing, and if I pronounce your name wrong, I'm sorry, Pankaranta Karat. I'm sorry. Thank you so much for taking care of him. In his last days, it was comforting to our family to know that he was in hands of somebody who loved him and took good care of him, and got him into a private hospital, got him oxygen when the reports here there was no oxygen in India. I mean, nicely done. Thank you so much for doing that. I appreciate it.
Maha used to always talk about his smaller brother, and he was very proud of him. He was a psychologist in the prison system in America, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah. Interesting job.
So Maha was saying, oh yeah, my brother is not so religious, but he's a nice guy, he's intelligent. And anyway, he's been saved. And I would always say, how do you mean? He said, well, I give him lots of small books, and he distributes them to the prisoners, and the prisoners keep coming back asking him, you got more of those books? So he said, I got my brother distributing Prabhupada's books in the prison. So he's already saved.
And that is a true story. I would, when inmates come in, they don't have anything to read, and I would talk to them about that, and I would say, well, I had a small pamphlet, many small pamphlets. I'd say, read this, see what you think. If it's for you, come back, and I've got a bigger book for you, because I didn't have a lot of the bigger ones, and yeah, a lot of them came back and said they really liked it, and they wanted the bigger book, and so I would give them the bigger book, and so maybe help the movement a little bit.
No doubt. Thank you.
Thank you.
I see Shantana Sringa Prabhu is here. Would you like to speak something, Prabhu? He's our vice president in ISKCON Jaipur.
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Go ahead.
Prabhuji, I cancel my Bhakti Vaibhav class. I had Bhakti Vaibhav class 5 p.m. But So whatever Mahasrnga Prabhu, when I joined in Mayapur, once or twice I saw him. That time I did not close to him. I was not close to him. And when I came in Jaipur, then every time I getting inspiration from him in spiritual life, in every moment, specifically in morning program, always I was getting inspiration. Many devotees are telling about his always give, whenever he meet anybody, he try to make friendship, whoever, devotee, non-devotee, always, that is his nature. And same time, like he is giving some gift, whenever he meet anybody, even temple devotees also, even first time meet any devotee, he gives something. That, and same time, always he try to, he was playing with all devotees, like try to take their feet. That's always remember me. Whenever we meet, he try to touch my feet. Not only me, everybody. Any devotee become any situation, mental situation. If someone go in front of him, he forget everything, his situation, and become fully changed within 1 second. That I realize in my in life in Jaipur every day, that whenever I saw, everything changed, mind changed anytime. So this is very impressive. And when I came to Jaipur, after few months, I was getting little bit upset, like what I will do here. Here is no my God brother, not same devotee. I am far of them. How can I adjust? So when he saw me, he himself asked me, Santo, are you in tension in something, any what? Then I share with him. So I am feeling like that. Then Mahasrnga Prabhu, he told me about Prabhupada, his memory with Prabhupada. And he, after 5 minutes, when I listened from him, then I understood in my mind, and I sat in Jaipur. And from that time, every time I remembering him about that time, if Mahasrnga Prabhu don't understood me that time, maybe I was not in Jaipur now, somewhere else. Actually, he convinced me how to be, not, I am not in far away from my guru or God brothers. That he understood me that time. And this thing always I remember whenever. So Mahasrnga Prabhu's is great divine association. Really I lost. Hare Krishna.
Oh, thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for revealing also. We nearly lost you, but Maha saved you, it seems like. Excellent, excellent. Is there anyone else would like to speak something? Janalada Prabhu, would you like to speak something? I don't want to mention people's names, put you on the spot if you're ready. Dale, yes, okay. Here is a person from America. I don't know what happened because I got so busy, but we do have a photograph of Mahasrnga Prabhu and Dale when they were like 4 years old, their childhood friends. And Maha's the way he would always busy on social media. He would be an hour, 2 hours every single day. Anybody write? You get an answer. About 6 months later, you get an answer next day in 1 or 2 days. He was very excellent on social media. And before social media, he was always writing letters. I mean, he was at the post office every day. So he kept in touch with a lot of his old friends, and Dale is one of those people from his childhood. In fact, Dale had a plan that after COVID over, he would come to India and Jaipur to visit Maha. So we'd like to, he's got his hand up, we'd like to hear from him.
Well, thank you, and Hare Krishna, everybody. And please, if I end up calling Maha Mike, it's only because that's the way I've always known him our entire lives. I moved to Grand Rapids when I was 6 years, when Mike and I were 6 years old. We actually share the month of August as a birth date. Mine is early in the year, early in the month, and Mike's is a little bit later on the 24th, as Sally has mentioned. And I moved in just 2 houses away from Mike, and we grew up together. Mike and I were 6 years old when we first met, and I consider him my first and obviously oldest friend. We spent hour after hour, day after day for 15 years together early on. I went to the Catholic schools, Mike to the public schools, but that didn't make any difference. We had a real kinship and a bond, and it was something special. It really was. And I just want to echo what his brother Craig said, that if it wasn't for the Hare Krishna, Mike would have been gone a long time ago. He really was searching and on a relatively destructive path. His intent was on his way, is when Craig met him in New York, he was about to, he wanted to start backpacking into Europe. And I believe that once he began reading the Hare Krishna, that's when he became a devotee. And one little story about Mike and his devotee, and someone earlier had mentioned about being in Miami. After high school, I went to university, ended up in the U.S. military for a couple of years, but then am still a certified public accountant and CPA, and I had business in Miami of all things. I had to go to a conference, and I got a hold of Mike, and he met me at the airport in his flowing saffron robes, and I came off the airplane in my blue blazer and khaki pants and nice blue button-down starched shirt. And we greeted each other, and you should have seen the crowd that was staring at the both of us. Mike in his saffron robes, his shaved head with his little ponytail, and I in my blue blazer and briefcase. He said, "Well, let's go. I've got our van," and we walked out of the airport, and there it was. It was not the limousine I was expecting. It was the temple's beat-up van that Ma had parked in a no parking zone. And we got into the van. He took me to the hotel to check in. And this is a very large, beautiful Hilton type hotel. We were standing in line waiting for me to check in. And when I finally got up to the check-in counter, they had to actually require a lot more identification. Now, this is back in the early or mid 70s for me to check in with Mike at my side. They weren't too thrilled about having someone that looked like Mike in the hotel. And well, you could see that's Mike just before he became a Hare Krishna. That's on the slideshow right now. And Mike brought a nice bag of food with him to feed me because I had just come on a long trip Unfortunately, I was expecting an American cheeseburger, and he had some food from the temple that smelled a lot different than I had anticipated, and actually smelled differently than most of the people standing in line with us were anticipating. So it was a great little point. I ended up going to the temple with him to see what it was like. So it was a very interesting experience. And we, as someone just mentioned, Mike and I would exchange correspondence every year. In early August, he would send me, well, it started out a very long 3 or 4 page letter, but at least I would know the address to return correspondence to him. Later, when with the internet that came along, we were able to then just exchange via our emails. But every year, we never missed 40 years exchanging our correspondence, telling him what my family was doing. I'm still married to the same woman for 50 years now, and 3 children, 8 grandchildren, all very university educated. As a matter of fact, this week, oldest grandson will be graduating from university, from Notre Dame, actually. And Mike was always interested, wanting to know what they were doing and how they were doing. And we had talked about, and as somebody said, I was starting to plan to celebrate our 75th birthdays, which would have been this summer. The pandemic was going to delay that, certainly, but I never thought the pandemic would cancel a trip. So again, thank you for allowing me to talk and to say something. And obviously, I've known Craig before he was born, and Sally, and appreciate, and I want to give a nice shout out to Mike's daughter, who was actually able to get me into the loop about a couple of weeks ago when I heard things were going bad or that COVID was spreading so horribly in India. I tried to get a hold of Maha. He never responded, which was highly unusual, and I was able to get Dana's name and address, email address, and she plugged me into the loop. And I appreciate, again, all that you over there in India have done for Mike all his life. So thank you.
Yeah, excellent. Very nice to hear. Very nice to hear from you. He did mention many times about his old school friend and how he was keeping in touch with you from time to time. So it's nice that you could be here with us today. I don't know if, I don't want to put any pressure. If Dana wants to say something, or not sure. If you do, you can go ahead. If you feel like it, I don't know how you're feeling.
Thank you to all of you that helped to take care of him during his last days and have been such a family to him, because really that was his life. His life was over in India. He loved all of you as much or more than those of us here in the States, I think. And I'm glad he found you. And I'm glad that he's where he wanted to be, with the God that he has loved and longed for his entire life. Thank you for taking care of him and keeping us posted. And it's been a challenge.
Yeah, yeah.
But he was always happy. He was always very rambunctious and very much a Hare Krishna. He liked to share that with all of us every time he came to visit. It was difficult for me getting to know him because he was so far away, but I'm glad he had all of you, and I know he loved all of you very much. Thank you for all you did for him.
Thank you. Thank you. Actually, he loved everyone. He spoke many times about you and his granddaughter and the family many times. And he was always having that feeling of, I mean, he gave his life to his guru. He gave his life to Prabhupada. There's no doubt. And everything else became even we, even his friends, became second to that. Prabhupada was everything for him. And he was not only in India, he was all over the world. And, you know, as a missionary doing Prabhupada's work, but he many, many times had that feeling that, oh, you know, in my early years, I have made a mistake, and he felt sorry that he didn't have more contact with you and more relationship with the family. So he talked about it a lot, but again, his focus was Prabhupada. When I was in Australia trying to come to India, then finally he convinced me, and we made some plan, and I left and came to Mayapur, and he was there. He was general manager in Mayapur. That's our international headquarters. He was the general manager in charge for security and devotee relationships and in welcoming foreign devotees visiting. And so I thought I'll go there because he inspired me. So I thought I'll go and stay there, get his association. Maybe something can rub off. I can become better as well. And I got to Mayapur and I was there for like 6-7 months and he left. And I'm saying, like, I only came here because of you. Now where are you going? So I'm going to the Philippines. I'm going to start preaching in the Philippines. Literati's there and others, and we're going to do this so much. And he went, and I was like, wow, the guy just left me hanging, sort of thing. But I understood that that was his mood. It was everything for his spiritual master, whatever was the benefit and whatever was the need of his guru, that came before everyone and anything else. And it's something that we look to even in our spiritual life. But he was exemplary at it. He was able to switch on and switch off. But at the same time, he had a heart and a great heart and was very much caring and loving not only his devotee family, but even his family in Grand Rapids and in America as well. He always remembered everybody. So we're coming up to a couple of hours now. I just wonder, Keshav Prabhu is online. He's our Bhakta Keshav, a new devotee, but Maha never, as the devotees were saying, he never saw senior, junior, he just became friend of everyone. So Keshav is here. Maybe he'd like to speak something about, somehow or other, he clicked very quickly with Maha. He became very close friend of Maha, and Maha used to make khichdi for him. He had that ability. You see, there was a slide of the president of Malaysia came to visit the temple. He was officially in Jaipur for something, and so he visited the temple. And it was amazing. Within 2 minutes, he became very close. I mean, I can't do that. Maha brought him in. He's a very big, powerful person. Maha began joking with him, showed him around the temple, showed him everything. And that person became very endeared. And then Maha gave him the full set of Srimad Bhagavatam, our main philosophy literature we have. He took it back to Malaysia. He put it in his office and he requested his staff, anybody wants to read, you can take books from here. And even when I leave this office, the books will stay here. These books are not for me. They're for the country of Mauritius, like that. And so then he even, in that 5 minutes, he invited Maha, you please come. He became so much endeared. You please come to Mauritius. I'll give you everything. Take care of you. Come and stay for a week. I'll show you around the place. Became very much endeared to him. So yes, Keshav, if you'd like to say something, please. Is Jitendra with you?
Yeah.
So if you'd like to speak,
He's with me,
Prabhuji. I'd like to speak. Huh?
Prabhuji is with me.
And I do notice.
Should I speak? Should I first speak or let him speak?
1 second. You speak. Please, 1 second. Gaura Prabhu, I do notice that somebody else is with you as well. I think I saw your wife, Gorpanima Mataji, is leaning into the picture. So maybe after you, if you'd like to speak something, we can have Keshav speak if you'd like to say something.
Hare Krishna,
Okay,
and
Keshav,
thanks
please
for the
go ahead.
opportunity, Prabhuji. And to say something about, let me say something about Mahasrnga Prabhu. So you are the one who actually asked me to go to Mahasrnga Prabhu's to assist him with his technical stuff and all. So I usually went there to assist him with his computer. That's the one thing he had problems with. But then later I came to know that he was into computer field. So I thought, why is he calling me into computer field when he's already a person from the computer field? So then he would tell to me that, okay, I actually call you because I need some association. I said, what association can I give? Because you are a disciple. And later I came to know that he's a Prabhupada disciple. That is way after that I came to know that he was Prabhupada disciple. But even before that, he would ask me, okay, I need your association. I said, no, I am not someone who would give you association. I should have association with you. Even based on your age, I should get experiences from you. But later on, I came to know that, okay, this is someone who has seen Prabhupada in person. So I would ask him every time I would visit sometime, some pastime or the other, that, okay, what did Prabhupada do like this? Did you see him in person? What was his day-to-day routines? How did he behave? How did he spoke to you? How would he meet with people? And all kind of stuff. But then he would answer all those stuff, and at the same time he would be cooking something. The first time I saw him cook was the khichdi, which I most liked. So the one thing which I would be missing most when he's gone is that khichdi. It's a porridge, Indian porridge. So that's what. So regarding that porridge also, I had eaten many a times that porridge. So actually, maybe he might have been a good father to someone, but I would say that he had been a good mother to me. He would cook every time. And every time he would call me. He would ring me up and call me. Oh, I made khichdi. Would you come and have some? So I would say, Prabhu, you should cook for yourself and eat for yourself. So he would say, I have made some new one. I'll eat the old ones. So I said, why do you eat old ones? He says, I would refrigerate it in my fridge, and then later in the coming weeks or so, I'll heat it up and then eat. So I said, maybe you should call me then, that when you would know that, okay, is it sufficient for you? He would say, no. I would give the hot stuff to you and I'll take the cold stuff later. So that's how he would drink cold milk, cold water, everything he would take cold. So that's how I came to know that if he has been a good father, but he's also a good mother to me. So he would always call me. He would always call me at his home. Whenever there's a khichdi being made at his home, he will call me. As soon as he rings me, I would instantly know, okay, he's calling me because there's some khichdi today at his home. So that's why. And later when I go to his home, then he would ask about his technical stuff. Oh my, this is not working, that is not working. And sometimes he would accompany me as well to get that stuff sorted out, because most of the time, many people who don't know stuff, what's going around with technical stuff and all. So they would ask me to assist and they'll just watch me do stuff. But Mahasrnga Prabhu used to do stuff with me. It just didn't watch only, it used to do stuff with me. His computer got busted. He took the car, took his computer with me and told, okay, let's go and get it fixed. So I thought I could do it myself. He said, no, I want to get some fresh air, go out, move around. So I said, okay, maybe you can do that. And he would go there and still sit there in the car. I would say, oh, you were psyched before, just a few moments before that I should go out. But you don't come around to the shop to talk with that shopkeeper or maybe chit chat with him. He said, oh, I am good in the car. I am not good outside. So I said, but you were just a few moments before you were psyched to go out and meet people. So I said, this very person who is so casual meeting with people, who is so friendly meeting with people, he would sometimes be sitting at his own, and I would wonder, there's more to Mahasrnga Prabhu. It's not just that he's only friendly. There's something more to Mahasrnga Prabhu. So that's why I would always want his association. I would always find ways to go to his home. That one time I went to his home, usually he was the one who prepares food and calls me. But that day I was hungry and I went to Mahasrnga Prabhu's and I said, Prabhu, I am feeling hungry. So he opened the door, saw me from top to bottom and saw, do I run a restaurant here? He said that, do I run a restaurant here that you're coming to me and asking for some porridge? I said, you usually call me and offer things to eat. Now you're asking me that, is it restaurant or something? So I thought, okay, maybe he's in some kind of stuff is going around him. So I came I came up with an idea and said, no, it's me who is going to take you outside to a restaurant so that I can eat something for me. Would you be willing to come with me? So he said, but still my place is not a restaurant. But if you want to go with the rest to a restaurant, you better call Janalath Prabhu. And then if he accompanies me, then we'll all go together outside and eat something. So that's what he said that day. That is my home. Does my home look like a restaurant to you? So that day I thought, oh, I should be prepared to not go to his home barging in asking for food. When he calls, that's when you should go. So that was the one pastime. And later on, when he had some other stuffs to take care of, he would say stuff to me that, okay, I have been in my early days, I did all this stuff. I was not into devotion early, but you see for yourself, you are so early in your devotion. So he would say all that stuff to me. He would always be taking a lower position that, okay, I have not done this, but you guys are doing that. So that was one quality he was always good with. He would always see himself as someone who is lower than even the smallest child in our community. Would still offer obeisances to the smallest child who would be roaming around in the street. He would always see himself lower than that child as well. And in a sense, he was a child in his heart. So that's why I like those slides in which there was some slides in which it shows a side of him. People would say that he looked big. He was a big guy. He was a tall guy. He looked serious, but when you start speaking to him, you think that I'm just talking to someone my age or maybe less than my age. Like he's a child. He comes fluently with his speech. He starts speaking so fluently with people that people start thinking that is he an old guy or is he some guy who is just looking old but young at his heart. That's one quality I came to know, that he's still young at his heart. Even when we had, lastly, I met him before he was admitted to the hospital. I met him, I took him to the doctor. And even at the doctor's place, the doctor gave him some medicine to boost up his oxygen levels. So that doctor said, you should get admitted as soon as possible. But to that doctor, he says, oh, you're giving me this medicine. I think this should work quite easily. So I don't need to get into hospital so often, I think. I recently visited the hospital, but that was so horrible. The last hospital I went. So he started complaining to the doctor. So the doctor said, no, you should not speak. He said, what I should not speak? I am already feeling okay with this medicine. So I said, Prabhuji, you should not speak actually, because you might start feeling breathlessness. So he said, I am feeling fine. I said, this man was sitting beside me just a few moments before. He was saying, I'm not feeling well. And he was just asking me to take me to the doctor, take me to the doctor. And when he's at the doctor, he's just speaking as if he was there for just a friendly chit chat. So he was talking like that to the doctor. So the doctor said, enough chit chats, but you should definitely get admitted in the hospital. That's when I came to Prabhuji and told him what the doctor said. So really, Mahasrnga Prabhu, the one thing which I like most about him was you can speak anything about anything to him. It's not that you should first get into formalities or something, that can I tell this or can I not. You just see him, you'll just feel, okay, I should say all that comes to my mind to him. That's what I felt when I got his association. So he would always, when I visit his home, he would always be reading Prabhupada's books. He would always be listening to lectures. And if he's not able to, he would ask me, oh, can you fix this for me so that I can listen to Prabhupada's lectures? Can you fix this for me? Can I, so that I can read the book better? So that's what happened the previous month. I fixed a spectacle for him. He was not able to have a good vision due to that operation and all the diabetes going around. So he said, okay, I should get the eyes checked. But I was like kind of pestering him for a month that you should get your eyes checked. You should get your eyes checked. Every time he would say, no, I don't want. I already have those spectacles. Then one fine day he said, okay, I am taking your advice for me and let's meet your friend. I said, which friend? He said, that doctor whom you were trying to take me to. I said, which doctor? Are you feeling okay? He said, that's doctor who checks the eyes. I said, the ophthalmologist. Yeah, I guess so. So I said, okay, let me take you to him. So we visited that day to the eye doctor, and when we were gone halfway, he told me, I was the one driving him. So he told me, go back to my home. I have to pick some stuff up. So I said, what was so important that the doctor's appointment is already there, but you're asking me to go back to your home? So he said, yeah, I have some stuff to pick. So I thought maybe some grocery list or something he has forgotten at his home. But when I went back to his home, as everybody is saying, he had a big suitcase of gifts. He hastily picked all those suitcases and came up with some gifts. He loaded the car backside with all those gifts and went with me to the doctor. I said, where are you going to go with all these gifts? He said, I'm going to give it to the doctor. I said, all these gifts to the same doctor? Yeah, he said, if I'm going to make a first impression on that person, then I better make it with the gifts which I'm going to give him. So once we visited that eye doctor, he gave all those gifts which he had loaded in his car to that doctor. So that was that day when I fixed a specs and eyeglass for him. And I really was worried when I heard the day when Prabhuji told that Mahasrnga Prabhu is no more. I thought to myself, the previous month I fixed an eyeglass for him, and he hasn't even used it properly. And why has he gone somewhere? So then that's what the first thought was in my mind. And then the second thought which came was, if he's gone, who is going to fix me a khichdi? Because if he's gone, who is going to make those delicious khichdis for me? So that for that khichdi also, one time I asked Pancharatna Prabhu, should we implement this khichdi at our home when we were on the tour? So he said, yeah, we can implement it, but the cost factor is not going to be suitable for our temple, because he adds so exquisite ingredients to its khichdi, to his porridge, that it's not sustainable for the temple for the time being. So that's what Prabhuji said. Okay, we should go with the simple khichdi for the temple, not Mahasrnga Prabhu's. So, and even Vyapak Prabhu, the last time we went, I was saying to him that we went, the last time I saw him, I think probably he also saw him the last time that day. When he fixed us a bowl of soup, fine soup, he was saying, I bought like a kilo worth of broccoli. We'll make some soup, fine soup with it, and we'll have some soup every week. So I thought maybe Prabhuji has gotten some health conscious recently. So I thought maybe in the coming months we'll be having more of his soups with us. We'll be enjoying some time with him. So those were some of the pastimes. There are many pastimes.
Over time now.
But yeah, for the time being, I'll just stop here and thank everyone for patiently listening to me. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Mahasrnga. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Keshav. Thank you. Yes, Mahasrnga, he was giving you a lot of mercy. As I mentioned, Jitendra, you can just wait. Panchagora Prabhu's, I think his wife is there. Is that Gopanima?
I'm here. Yes,
Yes,
I'm
so
here. Hare Krishna.
again, Panchagora wife, Gopanima is there, so we'd like to hear from her something.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for doing this. And I want to offer my heartfelt condolences to your family. I know he was your family, big part of your children's lives. I met Maha in 1984 when I got married to my husband, and he was a sannyasi at the time. So he appeared quite stern to me, but that was just part of his, personality, because soon after that we got to be good friends, and he loved my husband and he loved me and he loved my children. And the one thing I wanted to say to Dana and Craig is every time we got together to meet, he always spoke about his daughter and his granddaughter and his brother and his father. And I honestly am quite surprised that he decided to leave. I always remembered him telling me that his father had lived into his 90s. I think he might have been close I don't know, it seems like, yeah, like late 90s or something. So I was quite shocked when I heard that he had left us. And I thought that he would definitely pull through and definitely, you know, be much older. You know, I thought he'd live the same amount of time his father had survived. But over the years, he just touched everybody's heart. He loved my sons, and as a mother, you know, whenever anybody really honestly wants to know how your boys are doing and how your kids are, you just feel so appreciative. And they really saw him as an uncle. And we had a lot of fun together. Traveling, we met in Rishikesh, and we went up to the mountains with you, Pancharatna, which was such a wonderful trip. And he's really going to be missed. I really just want to thank you for all the love and care your family has given him, and just want to express my love also to his family in Grand Rapids and his friends. It's been such a pleasure to actually meet you now on Zoom, and to put a face to the people that he always spoke to with me with so much love. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Jai Mahasrnga Prabhu.
Jai. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm really glad that you could be online also and just give us some appreciation. So Janardhan is there with you, Keshav? Like to speak a little bit, something? I thought he mentioned he wanted to speak something, because we'll need to finish up now.
First, the Vyapaku's hand is, so I think first the Vyapaku.
Oh, good. Yes, Vyapaka Prabhu, please do go ahead.
Oh, okay. It's just, I'll speak something very briefly. Anyways, my condolences to his family in America. I first actually met Maha in Michigan. He had just changed his ashram, but at the Detroit temple there. And I didn't really get to know him more until we were actually in India, and we met up in India at different times in Vrindavan, and then here in Jaipur. And that's when I really got to know him better. And he was always a very caring and generous person. He was definitely a Prabhupada man, and definitely was very much into Prabhupada's original books. And he will be very much missed here in ISKCON Jaipur, because he was always very accommodating to new people, especially Westerners that were coming here visiting Jaipur. He was very accommodating to them and very friendly, and he'll be definitely missed here. And my condolences.
Thank you, Trishakti Mataji. Very nice. And now we're getting close to finishing up. Jitendra, Janardhan Jitendra, you can speak.
Hare Krishna Mahasrnga Prabhu. Please accept my humble obeisance. Mahasrnga Prabhu, we will not see the Prabhupada, but we see you. We are in second generation. And what seva, how you give, that's, I'm very happy. I did your seva. What's your visa extension, that thing, or sometime if you need, and your relationships, how you make the relations. And we will never forget Mahasrnga Prabhu doing the Srila Prabhupada, the Vyas Puja day, you doing the Aarti, and in the Srila Prabhupada Disappearance Day, and you're close to everyone. You give you give the gifts to everyone, and you are Santa Claus, the ISKCON Jaipur. So Just we pray to Srila Prabhupada कि he will give you in the Lord Krishna's feet every time. Thank you, Mahasrnga Prabhu.
Very good. Thank you, Jitendra. Thank you. So I think we'll finish. There's no one else to speak. There's no more hands up. So then I think we can finish up here. It's very nice that you could all join. Right now we have 30 participants, but at one point there was 60 people online, and a lot of the very close friends and family have spoken something, and we've got some more insight. Definitely Maha will be very much missed by everyone. I guess more and more as we consider. But this slideshow was Keshav's last service for Maha. He put this all together. If you like, I can send you. I get Keshav to send it. If you'd like a copy, you can have a look and keep it. A lot of nice photos there to remember him by. So thank you very much. And we'll always remember Maha. He's still with us. He's in our hearts. And we'll be missing a great friend for a long time. Thank you very much. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Mahasrnga. Mike. Thank you. Yes, I think Sally, Dana wants to. You're on mute. Unfortunately, you're on mute. You need to unmute yourself.
No, we were just saying goodbye, and thank you so much for everything. Thank you.
Very good, yeah.
There was one last thing I would like to which came into my mind.
Oh, okay. Quickly.
We had this gym set up newly at the bottom of the temple. So that I think it was the second day we had set up. I set up all those machines in there. You called me up at that day, and he asked me to set up all his instruments and all that. So he was saying that I am setting all this up so that the devotees from the temple can get benefited out of it. So people are actually coming and using it, and he was so happy about it. He was saying, "Oh, everybody's coming there to use that gym. Now I've got to do something else for them." He said, "I'll establish something more for all the devotees in here." So he was saying that, and then as he was saying, he said, "I wish I also had a Harley Davidson." I said, "What Harley Davidson?" I thought maybe those emblems or maybe those mementos you have when you have those bikes with you, like jackets or something. I said, maybe you want a cap or a jacket or something like that. No, he said, "I want an actual Harley Davidson. I'll buy that." I said, "Prabhuji, like 2 days before only you were complaining about having some pain in your joints, your leg joints." I said, "How would you be riding those heavy, hefty bikes?" He said, "I'll just buy it, keep it there, watch it for some time, and then I'll sell it back." I said, "Then what's the point?" I said, "Then what's the point of buying one?" He said, if I'll see it, then maybe I'll get some inspiration to drive around." Then the next day I went around, "Okay, Prabhuji, I have saw these and these models, such and such models are there for Harley Davidson. So which one would you buy?" So he said, "Which one should I buy? I am not going to buy anything." I said, "Yesterday you were saying that you were going to buy that Harley Davidson." He said, "Yeah, I say a lot of stuff to buy and do, but I usually don't do them. Do you think I am some kind of lots or something?" I said, "No, Prabhuji, that's not what I meant." He says, "No, but if you say I'll buy a Harley Davidson, maybe you can come and wash it every day, but I won't be riding it anytime soon. That's what he said to me. That's what I remember. That's what the last time he said that I wish. So that was his wish, I should say. That day, maybe he jokingly said that, but that is where I heard that word wish last day. He said, I wish I had a Harley Davidson. So that's what he said. Yeah, that's what came into my mind.
Yeah, that's what he liked, the motorbike. All right, so we'll finish up now. And Sally, I'll be in touch. I'll send you some correspondence.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye. Hare
Bye.
Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Let's do this.